Hi everyone, Dave Hahn here. I'm going to go over InDesign, just the basics quickly, in case you needed some more help with this. I'm getting a lot of questions about it. So the first thing we're going to do, open InDesign. I'm going to say create new. I already have my settings plugged in here, but I'm going to go over those. First of all, we need to make our units inches, right? And these were the dimensions that we have that are put into the Spark presentation. These are standard printing images. 8.38 inches width, height 10.78 inches. We're going to have 3 pages. I would like this facing toggle checked here. Make sure you change the name to your last name. Always have your last name in the file name. Without your last name, grade work is not accepted. We'll call this inDesign inclass. That will be fine. I'm going to say create. It'll create my 3 pages here. I can do a control or command plus or minus to zoom in and out. And we're going to add a picture here. I'm going to show you how to scale it. I'm going to show you how to crop it. We're going to add another picture here. And over here, I'm going to show you how to add a picture and wrap some text around the subject matter. So the first thing we need to do is make sure we have our workspace set up. I'm going to say go back to Essentials Classic here. And you can even do like a reset workspace. And now everything in InDesign deals with these frames. We have 3 areas to make frames. We have this basic frame rectangle tool, and you'll see it makes a frame with some transformation handles here. Control Z to get rid of that. We have a picture frame. You'll see a little X here and some more controls here for pictures. And then we have our text box. If you click on the text tool, you can click and drag where you want your text to go. All right? But the first thing we're going to do is before I talk about these frames, and this is very interesting. This is something I forgot to mention during lecture. When you're adding your paper, let's say I'm going to place a paper in here. I'm going to go find a paper. You don't have to do a select all and copy paste. You just go ahead and you hit File and Place, select the paper, and it will automatically put that paper into your cursor. Right now it says I'm missing a font here. I can just hit Replace Font. You'll click on the actual font here, just say change all. It'll find like the closest font available. Or you can go through and you can pick a font if you want. So you see here I have some text attached to my cursor. If I were to click and drag out a little area of where I want my text to go, you'll see a little red cross right here. That means there's still more text that I was unable to fit inside this box. I can just take my selection tool, I can click on this red arrow, and it will automatically adjust the next box's text to continue right where that text ended. And anytime you see a red box here, you know that there's more text. And that's how you can quickly just start adding text to create pages here. For the in-class work, we're not doing that, but for your homework, you will be doing that. I forgot to mention that, so there's how you do that. So let me go through everything for this homework here. First thing we're going to do is add a picture. File, we're going to place a picture here. I'm going to use this max resolution default JPEG here, and you'll see when we put the picture in, it's quite large. Now there's 2 ways to adjust this picture. There's like a cropping function and then there's a scaling function. Right now when I grab my selection tool and grab the picture, you'll see it has a blue outline around the picture. This is your cropping tool. So if I were to bring this edge right up to the edge of the artboard here, I can actually crop the photo, right? So I'm cropping the dimensions of the photo. Now, if I were to grab the photo and move it, it moves the whole frame, right? Now, let's say I want to cover this white space. So if I grab this cropping function and try to stretch it up, will the photo stretch with it? No, it doesn't, because the photo ends right at this border. If we want to make the picture scale up into this white area, we're not going to do any cropping. We're going to do some scaling. To scale the picture, we're going to click on this little circle right here in the center of your photograph. When you click on that, you'll see an orange box. This is the actual frame of the actual picture. The blue box, we move those borders to crop it to fit on this artboard, but you can see the actual picture dimensions right here. And if you want to scale it, we can go ahead and grab this. We want to be careful not to squish images like this. So just like in Illustrator, you're going to have to hold the Shift key down when you're scaling up to scale it larger. So I'm just going to go ahead and make it quite large here. Don't worry about the pixelation. This is for the web anyway. So now I've got my red my actual picture scaled up past the artboard, and you can see the red rectangle going way past the artboard. Now I need to fix the blue rectangle to fit on this artboard. So I'm going to click out of this space here to deselect, and then I'm going to click on the photograph only. So that's kind of a key tool in InDesign. You're going to always wanting to be refreshing what your cursor is focused on. So it always focuses on the last thing that you clicked. So I want to click on empty space to deselect everything. Then I'm going to find like a empty corner of this photograph to click it. Make sure my rectangle here is blue. Now I can drag these. I don't need to hold the shift key for this because I'm just reverse cropping here. Just grabbing these pictures and making it go out toward the border. So again, blue rectangle is for cropping. Let's see. See? And then the red rectangle, if I click on the circle, you see it's way out here. I have plenty of space to move this picture around. So just to illustrate that, I'm going to click on empty space here. We'll click on the blue rectangle. I'll move her up. And then I'll move my cropping edge down and get that in frame. And I could even fix this top frame here to just get it all on the artboard. And then if you want to see where the actual boundaries of the photograph are, go ahead, click on the circle. You can see the photograph boundaries there. And that's fine. All right, so now I'm going to move on and add the designer's picture here, Iris Van Herpen. We'll go to File, we'll go to Place. We'll find the picture of Miss Van Herpen here, and we'll place it onto the artboard. And of course, it is quite large, so we're going to just center it on the board. We can again grab these blue, since I'm clicking on the picture and not the circle, I have these cropping options here. We can crop it to the bleeding edge of the, I can't reach that down here, so I'm going to zoom out, Control minus some more, and get that in. Then I can do a Control plus and zoom in. Here's her face. So the first thing I'm going to do here for this one is I'm going to add my photograph. We're going to go to File. We'll go to Place here. I'm going to grab this no background PNG. Again, you don't need to remove the background at this point because we do have a new tool that will allow us to select the subject, but we went ahead and for this example, this photograph is a PNG file with no background, but again, you don't need to do that before you add your picture. You can just bring in a regular picture and we can still wrap the text around the subject now. I'm going to make this a little bit bigger, so I need to click on this little circle right here to see the actual dimensions of the picture, and I have to kind of scroll off here because the blue border and then the red border are the exact same space. So I'm going to go over here and click this to see the red border. Now I'm going to stretch this out. Again, I don't want to compress or skew the image, so I'm going to hold my shift key down now. We'll make that bigger, and we will, maybe that's too big. Let's go down a little bit. Put that like right in there. And now I want to crop my picture here, so I'm going to click outside of the art space, find that blue border, and I'm going to crop this to my page here. This isn't always necessary. It does automatically crop it, but if you want it to be clean. All right, so now let's add some text. I want to, we can click on the picture here, and again, we're going to go to text wrap, and if you don't see those options, you just go to Window and text wrap. I'm going to choose this option right here, Wrap Around Object Shape. And because I have this picture selected, it automatically gives me these options. How do you want to do the contour? I'm going to say Select Subject. And then it's analyzing the picture here. And because we removed the background, it made it very clean. I don't know if you can see all these little anchor lines. Like it took a pen tool and sat here and outlined this whole thing. This is an amazing tool. Here's my little border, my buffer border. If I increase that, you can see it increases the space from my subject to where my text is going to be added. All right? So now that I have those set, I'm going to zoom out here and I'm going to add some text. I'm going to click out of this because I don't want to replace my photograph here. So I'm going to grab my selection tool and click on empty space right here. Now I'm going to go back and say Place, grab my paper again, and we'll replace those fonts again. Change all. All right, so I clicked out after I rescaled this picture to make sure nothing was selected, and I can just drag out an area where I want my paper to go, and you can see it's kind of giving me a little preview here. I'm going to grab my selection tool and drag it onto my space. Now because I already told that picture I want text to wrap on it, you can see how it's kind of contouring to that photograph. I'm going to make this font bigger, so I'm going to double click in here and select all of this font. And right here is my text size. I'm going to go make this nice and big. I'm going to try not to make that red arrow show up. Just want to get it to fit perfect. And that's it. So check it out. Look, I wrapped my text around my picture. Now I have a little bit of a consistency of color problem. These are like dark values on these two pages, and suddenly I have this white page. If you wanted to have like a dark background, you can certainly grab a rectangle here and drag out a rectangle over this artboard, and you can change the fill color to something like black here. Now you'll see I've covered everything, so I'm going to go to my layer panel and make sure my rectangle is on the bottom. And now my text is not really popping, so I'm going to double click in here and change the color of my text. Go over here, make that white, and click into empty space here. Now I have some nice white text, and there's how you add text wrap to your image. Okay, and so when you're done with this, we need to save it with all the parameters that we said, and it was we had to save the inDesign file. You're going to export as a smallest file size PDF. So to do that for this document, you're going to go, I believe, let's try save as. Does that work? Is there a PDF option? There isn't. So first of all, we have to save our inDesign work. You see, I already saved it here. I'll save it again and replace it. That's fine. Now we need to, there's our inDesign file. Now we need a PDF. So we have our PDF just kind of dedicated right here. I'm going to go PDF, smallest file size, of course. I'm going to, I should just make a new folder here for inDesign. And we'll put my PDF in there. And then we have these options again, smallest file size, okay. Is there a preserve editing capabilities? I don't see that, so we're going to carefully move on to compression. We're going to say image quality will always be on high. Image quality here, high as well. And output, we'll say no conversion. General. And I don't see preserve editing capabilities, so I think we're good. Let's export that. There's overset text, that's fine. I went a little bit past the artboard, but not going to be an issue. So let's go to our inDesign here. Here's our PDF. Let's take a look at it. First page, second page, third page. Looks good. All right, so there's our PDF. We have our inDesign work right here. Let's drag that into that folder. What else do we need? Oh, it's still open. So let me close this. We will save this, save, and I will close it. Now I'm going to drag this into my inDesign folder. So you see my inDesign, my PDF, and then what else do we need? Our Word document with our paper. So let me show you that. So we have our folder here, and I did write my paper. I wrote like a Chanel paper here. I'll put that into my inDesign. Those three. And then what else? Make sure it has APA citations of your sources. So for this paper, and you'll look at my paper is not exactly an APA format. That's fine. I just took this from Wiki. That's fine. Just make sure your reference page, this is an APA format. This is the biggie. The second line is indented. There is a format. You can go to Purdue OWL, type in APA formatting, and it will show you how to do it. Word also has templates here for APA papers. You can use that template if you want, if you were still unsure on how to create an APA style format. And that's what you're going to upload into Blackboard. I do want to have the in-class work first, and then also your homework. And your homework is 500-word paper about your favorite designer, of course, APA citation styling. At the end, the reference page. I don't need to see the citations within the paper. it might make copying and pasting a little awkward. And then, yeah, that's it. So we did a PDF and the InDesign, and you can just look here for inspiration. You can look at the other links here for inspiration for your lookbook or magazine article. And I would like 2 pages. If you need to go to 3 pages, you're fine. But just if you want, I think you should fit it onto 2 pages. One of the pictures has to have text wrap on it. Just adjust the font size to get all of your work to fit on these 2 pages. If you need to go to 3 pages, you can. Just make sure one of the pictures has text that's being wrapped inside the photograph somehow, maybe like we showed in the example. All right, I hope that makes sense to everyone. Let me know if it doesn't. Have a happy InDesign work, everybody.